uh, 1st August that I'm not going home, and I was kind of feeling a need to make this shortest guide to Albania for xenophobes. I never was a tourist in the strict sense of the word, but I was a traveler, mainly with imagination and through books. But perhaps that's a good way to see places and to talk about places where you've never been. So for the culture that I have, for the very kind of culture that I have, it's easier for me to talk about places where I've never been, but I'll try now to talk about my country, so a place where I grew up, and it's commonplaces, it's cliches. So the very first cliche you should know about Albania if you go there, and of course you will, is that Albania was isolated for almost 5 decades. This made it a prison. It was for centuries a poor country and always was renewed among the poorest countries in Europe. But this dictatorship made it one of the most isolated countries on earth, so at the level of North Korea. And this is why our psychology changed so much, and it became like many reflexes, many reactions, many characteristic features changed in worst, of course, in a negative way, towards the what I can call the sort of autistic bullism, which could sound as a short fuse, but it describes quite closely some behaviors. And that's what you learn during being locked down and knocked out. I'm sure that most of you will understand what am I talking about, because recently we had a worldwide lockdown, so this kind of conditioning is familiar to almost every soul in the planet. And that's why you have to know when you just have to leave alone an Albanian guy when you see it, that he's reacting in a certain way. This thing of the isolation is, of course, it's tied very closely to the provincial and peasant agricultural economy we had, and this went towards sort of idolatry, and this personality cult of the dictator, which we kept for almost 50 years, and I think that great part of our people would have kept him even after dead in mummified way, such as Lenin in the mausoleum. But things changed at the European and worldwide level, and the Berlin Wall fell, and that produced a change which was already in place, but it gave it the last push. So this is a paragraph about isolation. I hope I wasn't too rhapsodic. Another paragraph is at Albania, and you will recognize this if you go there. Albania is a country which has a border with itself, in any direction. So if you go to Montenegro, you'll find the Albanians of Montenegro. If you go to Kosovo, you'll find the Albanians of Kosovo. If you go to Macedonia, you'll find the Albanians of Macedonia. And if you go to Greece, you'll find the Albanians of Greece, which are the only ones that have almost entirely forgotten the Albanian language because of the Greek politics of the last decades. And where was this decided? It was decided in London in 1913. So the only part of Albania which was recognized independence was the hardcore. So the Albania we have now, the very heart of Albanian people, and all the other parts were included in other states which now don't exist, like Yugoslavia. And of course we feel privileged about this, but I don't know, I think we kind of misused this independence, and we had like 100 years of time to build something. But when you have the half of your house, and you can't build the whole thing, so perhaps this was the case, that our independence didn't produce the happiness which we deserve. Another paragraph that I would like to discuss about is a paragraph about cafe culture, so the culture of drinking coffee and going to the coffee shops, to the bars, to the bar cafes. And this is, of course, if you don't understand any Albanian at all, your advantages will increase. Now, this is perhaps the most favorite hobby, or I don't know, ritual of the daily life we have in Albania, and it has got I think a psychoanalytic function, because we need that kind of staying at the bar with a coffee for hours, and speaking every day about everything and doing everything there. And of course, this is our way of going to analysis by just paying the coffee. That if you go to the doctor, you'll have perhaps a coffee for free, and you'll pay the rest. But here you pay the coffee and you have the rest for free. And another paragraph would be that there are no monuments and city historical centers in the classical meaning because of our history. So we tend to lose control over cities when the barbarians or the invaders came, and this has happened very frequently, every century, at least twice. And that's why we can't keep control of history in the classical sense, but we have our very monuments are in the spoken language, as I said in my first podcast ever in English. And we have some pretty nice archaeological sites, but we have the living archaeology of Albanian language. And if you keep going there, then you'll feel the need to start studying and pretty profoundly in order to get through the nuances and to all the subtleties of our language. But it will be fun, and you'll never get bored. So this is the first chapter, a little random, of this shortest guide to Albania for xenophobes. I hope I was clear. Keep cool.